So if you ever have that misfortune to have to change a starter motor on an MGTF, as you can see, the rear fabric hood has been pulled up. The panel that here, which is held on by 1,000,000 bolts, has been taken out. The starter motor itself, just above the gearbox down there. Now, word of warning, if it isn't difficult enough to get to those bolts, well, the top one's not so bad, the bottom one is quite difficult. Had to take the air filter housing out, which is down there. That is there's a screw there which holds in the induction part, which is, if you can see it on my finger there, so that slides out, but you have to sort of faff the box up this way to get that out. There's not enough room to push that out and then bring the box up. Then there's a little sort of pushy pin thing just here, and you have to faff it around, and then you've got another pipe there that just sort of pushes out. So the starter motor itself got a 13 mil, 2 wires on there, push on connector there on the solenoid. But these 2 bolts, so there's one at the top which is not so bad, one at the bottom which is quite difficult to get to. If it isn't bad enough, the one at the bottom is quite difficult to get to. Not only that, they are nut and bolts, believe it or not. And you can see, maybe right buried down there is where you have to try and get the bolts. Now, oddly enough, I loosened so the bolts go in that way. So what I've done was I cracked the bolts off. They're like 15 mil, I think. And then what I've done was the bottom one, I actually undone it with my hand going down there. It's a bit of a faff, cut my arm, is what it is. So yeah, top one's similar. So when you're putting the starter motor back in, I mean, I don't know, maybe you could reverse the bolts, perhaps, I don't know, might be a bit easier to do it that way. But yeah, so it's a bit of a faff to get these out. Obviously the battery's been disconnected, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Right, I'm going to get on and put it back in a minute. There we go, new start motor back in. Then you can see that very well, but there's a 13 mil down there and 2 main wires. There's a little push on wire, and the bolts, I don't know if you can see it with this phone, they are buried right down there. So that's the starter back in. I'm just going to put the rest of it back together. Well, not all of it, but the air cleaner box. I'll be right back. So there we go, air box is back in. A little bit tricky actually. Down there, there's one of them. There's also one down the back there, so there's actually 2 of them with a screw. That's the air filter box back in with the induction bit down there. The one at the back, that's connected. This one here. And down there, just going to connect the battery now. It's probably flat. See if it starts.
Yeah, nothing.
No, the battery's flat, so need to charge up the battery and hopefully it'll be good. But there you go, that's how you change the start motor on an MGTF. Thank you.